Welcome to a new week. We have a very special guest here. His name is Malik Afegbua. Did I get it right? I'll try. Meet the visionary Malik Afegbua, filmmaker, AI pioneer, culture shifter. What happens when art, technology, and African heritage collide? You get Malik Afegbua, one of Africa's most exciting creative technologists and filmmakers shaping the future of storytelling. From launching Slick TV in 2013 to working with Meta, Marvel Studios, and building Africa's first large language model, is called ALLM V1. Malik is not just pushing boundaries, he's erasing them. You probably know him from the Elder series, a viral project that used AI to portray seniors in regal, futuristic fashion, challenging ageism and reshaping global conversations around beauty, representation, and power. In this exclusive sit-down, we dive into Malik's journey, how he got into the film business, why he believes African stories belong at the center of global innovation, and how he's blending AI plus Afro-speculative cinema to tell stories the world has never seen before. If you're an emerging filmmaker, tech creative, or just someone passionate about the future of African cinema, you don't want to miss this. This is more than an interview. This is a blueprint for building the future of storytelling from the African continent to the world. Thank you very much, Malik, for coming to have a chat with us about the business of film for emerging producers and existing producers. So if you're a producer that is just like 2 years into the business approaches you and say, oh, because I know about some young producers, some of them that have come out, they have done really good in the industry, and some of them have collaborated with people beyond Africa. So if they reach out to you and say, oh, I'm a producer, I have done this in 2 years, do they have a chance? Do they have like an opportunity to work with someone like you?
No, it's all about the drive. It's all about the drive, the willingness to be great, the willingness to have results. You know, when it comes to me personally, the show must go on. I must produce results. Like, I don't care what the situation is. As long as I agree to do something, the world can be burning on my side and you would not know. I will still produce that result. I don't mix it. I wouldn't say because of this reason I'm falling short. That's how I did. And afterwards, I did not tell you what. Do you know what was happening to me back then? Talk about it, laugh about it. It happens a lot. I've fallen sick, I've broken down, many things have happened, but that's just my mindset. It's take it very seriously. So if I find people that also take things very seriously like that, definitely you don't have to be in it for 2 years. You could be even in it a lot shorter than that. And you're going somewhere. I don't really look at the amount of experience you have, as long as you're willing to learn and you're learning and you're great at what you're doing. We're good to go.
So another question is, how do you budget at the different stages, and what are the biggest hidden costs?
Well, I currently stay away from budgeting. So I let someone else do that. And in the past, the hidden costs will be the miscellaneous things. The things that you didn't account for, trying to get location licenses, trying to get clearance to certain things, because you have a fixed cost already for your life. Talent, equipment, crew, but there are some other things that you need to get done. And logistics is never the same. It's mostly when it comes to clearances and licenses. Those are the craziest things, because there's never a fixed cost. Some people just want to be difficult, or some people just want more than it is, and you can't predict it. And because you're trying to make sure this thing works, you just have to comply with that. But every other thing is mostly fixed, I'd say.
Yeah, that's nice. Yesterday, myself and someone were having a conversation about her production, and she was like, oh, and now her producer has come back to meet her and say, instead of a certain amount of money, she's asking for 500K more. And I'm like, oh, what happened? She now said, oh, that things are that there's inflation in the economy. Like, this was what she budgeted for. And I was like, yeah, I understand. These are not right now with the whole recession and everything going on. Miscellaneous can be crazy.
Yeah.
It can be a lot, which a lot of emerging filmmakers are not even ready for when it's not your your fund. It's not your, because when a broadcaster gives you a certain amount, they have given you how, I know you're supposed to have a cost report, you're supposed to have your budget breakdown, but how you spend it, all they care about is I have given you funding, just give me my project at the end of the day. It can be very, very boring.
Exactly.
Is what it is. So do you offer equity or deferred payment deals during your projects?
Both. It depends on who I'm working with. Depends on the marketability of the project or the commercial value of that project as well. So both. I've done that in the past, and yeah, still doing.
Was there ever a time when your budget fell short in pre-production? And
Many
what did you cut or change?
times, it's happened a few times, but I have that problem of trying to deliver excellence is always there. So it's be me shortchanging myself to make it work. As long as we need an extra day to film something, I'm going to count from my pocket sometimes, and the client doesn't care, or something like that. I try my best. Sometimes I could speak to the crew. Okay, guys, for tomorrow I can't pay you full price. I'll pay you half, but this is the reason why. Stuff like that. I just put my producer hat on, and where sometimes I just take up the cost. Sometimes I just personally assume roles and do things. It all depends on the client as well. And thankfully, I have worked with a very crazy or stupid clients in a very long time. Oh yes, yeah, I've had them trust me, I've had them in the past. And you wonder why are you doing this? Like, is this life kind of thing? I've had them, but I've been very careful ever since, like picking my clients, because if I know you're going to stress me unnecessarily, I'm sorry. I just find an excuse. I don't do that work. I've had project, and the clients that pay you the least are the ones that stress you the most. For some crazy reasons. It happens in production all the time, especially when you have unforeseen circumstances, a crew member falling short, or a producer not doing the math correctly on equipment, or things spoiling on set, someone falling sick on set, setting up late, lost daylight, or rain is falling all day and you booked an exterior shot and you can't shoot. The location people don't care, you have to pay for that.
You have to pay for it. And sometimes I don't want to say when you have a location contract, it can be very crazy. Especially maybe when an actor falls sick, there's nothing you can do about it. If you've gone like 80% into production, you can't start changing an actor halfway. It's just because I've seen situations whereby you can tell them that we might not be able to afford, can we pay half? They don't even look at you. They'll say no. This was the contract. And especially in this side of the world. In Lagos, Nigeria, you can even still, my guy, I beg, and I like this. So sometimes you're always even happy that you're even using their location. And that's the truth. But here, on the other side of the world, they will just even close their eyes as if, well, is what it is. Then I would like to ask, how did you budget for your editing, music rights, VFX, log grading, and sound?
Personally, I'm a generalist, first of all. I know how to do all these things very professionally, editing, color grading. For my sound, I have a sound designer that works within my company. In my company, I have specialists, I have professionals, VFX guys, I have sound guys, I have gaffers that work with me. But apart from that, if you're looking for something external that's being used commercially, then we seek for that. Sometimes they don't charge us for it. Sometimes it just, but that is done. That is always done in your pre-production. Sometimes it should be done even while you're pitching. You just reach out to them and so you exactly know how much, even before you even go into production. And that's the problem when people go into production, not knowing that you can't use this, or this is the amount because they can charge you $1 million. Where will you get that money from? So you have to start finding a replacement for that thing. So in your pre-production, before you even get to pre-production, that's when you should account for that. But I try to avoid all those things. I use ready, not pre-made stuff, bespoke stuff made for that film. So I could get a composer to do something that sounds like something if I like something, or do something original, or just find a stock and pay for the license and download it. Won't be a lot of money. Of recent times, I've been using AI to compose. Yes.
How do you use AI to generate? But I just want to understand how it works.
It's amazing. It's crazy. AI can do anything. Can literally generate any kind of score, any kind of sound, any type of instrumental or vocals, or literally. So rather than trying to find an epic, a celestial, a local, I would generate that thing, and most of the time it's 100% perfect. But if I need some tweaks or anything, I have a sound designer. Okay, add some stems, remove some stems, and you just saw, that as well. But with AI, as changed everything for me. I don't have to wait 2 weeks or a week to get my song back from a producer. I get it in
Yes.
10 seconds, I get it in a minute, and I'm changing it up and finishing it that day. So yeah.
A lot of people, like, I know people are going into AI gradually, but some people are just scared like AI is going to take over their job. I know that's a conversation for another day, but I just feel if something is going to make your life easier, please just go for it, because the world is already too hard. Living a life is hard already. Handling business is difficult. That's the truth. So you want any litigations, anybody taking you to court or something stressing your life, especially when it can even cut costs for you. I think that's the way to go at the end of the day, regardless of how anybody feels. I know some people might feel hurt that, oh, this is that, but the truth is, if it helps you at the end of the day.
Yeah, it won't take your job. Someone using AI will take your job.
Take your job.
Definitely. Because companies now, every company in the world are gravitated towards it. So they would expect you to use it. So they'd rather work with someone that is using it than you, because it's faster. It's even a lot better than you trying to think. So yeah, we just need to do it faster.
Yeah. So how do you manage deliverables for platforms, distributors, and the film festivals? I know you were on the red carpet some time ago. Do you want us to like tell us about it and how the process?
So for the past 3 years, or would I say 4 years, I have been living just like a creative. I don't bother myself with a lot of things. Someone else does that. I just get messages. I just get invites. I just get deals. I need to sign here. I need to check this out. I need to, so I don't break my head as much. I just focus on the creative side, on building new things, adding new things, innovating and stuff like that. So I have people that work with distribution. I have people that work with. I don't have to work with a PR company, funny enough. When we have project, work with them for that project or as a brand, most of the things I do somehow just find its way somewhere or somewhere or the other. Mostly, I will call myself, I don't want to use the word floating, but I don't bother myself with that. Someone else does that.
Okay, so now that you're saying you don't even bother yourself, because I wanted to ask, like, do you use sales agents, which you said like you don't stress yourself about things like that. So you're just a pure creative in this space. But how do you think about team structure? So how do you think about your team structure from your DOP to producer, legal, marketing from the start?
Depends on the project. So I have DPs that are strong on certain kinds of genres or projects, like guys, and this is from my experience of working with each and every one of them in the past. So I pick them based on their strength and weaknesses. If you're very good at like a narrative short or indoor locations, cinematic things, or being creative with your shot angles, or just telling a story with the camera lenses, right? I pick them based on what I'm trying to do. If it's like a generally commercial thing, like, I don't mind, I could pick anybody. If it's a stylized thing, I have to, look at everything and know exactly who I'm working with. The DP and the gaffer they need to have a chemistry as well most of the time when I'm working. So we all have to understand each other. I need to tell you about a particular style of light. I need to tell you or give you a reference, and you have to know that reference, stuff like that. So that way it's easier for me to show you, oh, look at this, you understand it. I like to work with people that are well researched, in their fields. So when we're having conversations and that point out reference, you know exactly what I'm talking about, kind of thing. And I know these people based on me working with them, but not just working with them, I'm also studying their work, ethics and all of that. So it helps me make better decisions in the future as well.
That's right. So, what approach do you use to scaling your brand or studio? Is it project to project or slicked planning?
Mostly project to project it's been, but right now we're expanding on other levels, like enterprise levels, product levels, academia levels as well. So it's not just about projects, it's also about impact, spreading our wings into other spaces, other platforms, other entities, not just film, going into the arts, going into culture, going into things that has to do with the nation building as well, being intentional with where we place our feet as well. So all of this are like years of planning, but to be in the right place every time, not just being there for it, but we have to be in the right strategic place. And this is helping us and helping where we are as well. But in the past, it's mostly us choosing certain projects and doing that project. But that has changed like in the past few months, I would say. I wouldn't pick anything per se. I have it here, but I don't want to say it because it's very commercial and it's in every supermarket. But if
Oh,
I say it, I don't want the company to think that's my most profitable thing. That's what I was thinking about just now. In the past few years, because it was quick, it was fast, it was easy, it was simple, and it was, yeah, let's skip that. Yeah, because they would probably see like they're big, they're multinational. So yeah, I don't want them to.
you don't want them to feel too special.
Yeah, so when I'm charging them next time, they won't look at me like, oh, you get me.
All right.
On the business,
So what's the worst deal you've ever signed in your film career?
this will be throwing short. I haven't signed any fat deal. I haven't signed any. Put it down. I'm very political as well, as you can tell, because I do business. I'm not controversial. I stay away from controversies. Like, you'll never find me replying to someone that's putting a bad comment on my page or I just block. So I don't like controversies. I don't like stress. So when I say certain things might cause some controversy, I just stay away from it. Yes.
Okay, so for your first project, how much, you might not tell me the exact amount, but like how much did you have? I'm sure probably it was in USD converted to Naira, or was it Naira converted to US? Like how much did you like have as a first time filmmaker when you started film?
0.7 million naira.
How many years ago?
14. I think it was 2014 or either 2013 or 2014. I'll check. 2013, around that time though.
Okay, 1.7 won't do anything right now. Like, for an emerging filmmaker, it won't even do anything right now.
That was a check. Wow, this was going from a space that was earning 50,000 naira to make a video for a video, and like from there, so to me it was great. Like, oh, wow, okay, I made it. I didn't know that. Yeah, things that times like today, what is 1.7? It's crazy.
Yeah. So would you rather own 100% of your short film that no one sees, or 20% of a breakout hit?
20% of a breakout hit. 20% of a breakout hit. If no one sees it, then I have a reason for that. The reason why I didn't release the film that I did was that wasn't my actual directing style. That was directing style based off of circumstances and situations. And because that wasn't my directing style, I didn't want to release something to mislead people about my directing style.
So you said 20% of a breakout hit. Why?
Because that way, if I have creative control, especially one way or the other, either in the story or in the creation of it, then it's been seen, the artwork is being seen, and it's not, as long as it's done properly. But if it's 100% of something not seen, then that's just for me. I could always do that anytime I feel like I've done a bunch of things like that just to test. Yeah, definitely 20%.
Okay. So for an emerging producer or someone that is trying to because right now I can't compare where you have got into with a lot of our viewers or those that want to go into film. So right now, with the way things are, what's the real cost of finishing a film in post? Either a feature, series, short film,
It varies.
documentary.
It varies on where you're finishing that film. Nigeria has its own cost. Dubai has its own cost. Turkey has its own cost. The States, they have their own cost. UK, and it all varies. It depends on what, if you're working with a company, for instance, you're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you're working with some production companies in Turkey, you can be looking at about 15,000, 20,000. If you're working with some companies, even in that same Turkey, there's less 5,000. In Nigeria, it's it's a lot lower than that. No matter how much you put it, it's never up to that amount. So Nigeria is still the lowest in terms of how much you would spend for post-production. But there's certain reasons why a lot of people go to production companies in other spaces, and it's mostly based on the color correction and the sound design. We have great guys here, but we have a lot of more experienced people out there that do this thing constantly for big studios. So all they have to do is use that workflow on your thing. That's why some people go there. But it's also pricey. But that is why I personally had to, when I started into the commercial, I had to find out how and why I'd solve that problem. So I started to color grade. I color graded a lot of things that would look like Hollywood stuff. That was a learning curve. I spent a lot of time learning that. And I've not done that in a very long time. But I just wanted to know how to do it. So I wanted to know how to finish a film or a piece of work that is internationally, on par with every other thing. Went through all the stages of everything. But today, it's hard for me to sit down and just do it. I'm not that patient anymore. But there are people that do that, it varies. It varies on the production company and it also varies on the project that you're doing.
Okay, so for your cast of Elder series, or let me see your production Elder series, where did you shoot it?
Elder series are on two different levels. Elder series I have the AI version of it and I have the real life version of it, which is the fashion show series. And that AI version is literally I put them anywhere I want. But the ones with the seniors here, we've done it in several locations, both in Europe and in Nigeria, predominantly those two places. I will plan to take it into more spaces as well as we grow and do other stuff.
All right. Thank you very much, Malik, for being part of this interview. So guys, this is another episode this week with Malik Afegbua, the creative director for Elder series. It was something that I used to admire, like from one corner. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could produce something like this. Who is this guy? I always admired your work. I always check out your post on LinkedIn. So it's good to also hear somebody from where we also come from and seeing things in a different perspective. And you also believe that regardless of wherever you are from, your location, you can be at par with the so-called big producers out there, regardless of where you're starting from. Like I said, thank you very much for being part of this interview. Great day. Thank you very, very much. To every emerging producer watching this, here's what my story reminds us. You don't need permission to innovate. You don't need a massive budget to tell a powerful story. You just need vision, resilience, and the willingness to learn, pivot, and keep creating with purpose. Whether you are developing your first pitch deck, trying to raise the first dollar or naira or cities, or experimenting with AI in post, don't wait for the industry to catch up. Be the shift. Use your roots, use your tech, use your voice. And remember, the business of film is not just about cameras and credits. It's about ownership, audience, and long-term impact. If you have learned something new, drop a comment. If this inspired you, hit that follow or subscribe. And if you are ready to tell stories the world needs, we are right here with you. Have a good week.